Hey, welcome to the Tim and Gugabe podcast. This is your host, Tim Gugabe. How are you doing?
Hey, yeah, not too bad. Decent card last week. Shit card this week, but oh well.
Yeah, apologies to the listeners. We had recorded a podcast. Of course, it happened to be on a major pay-per-view. Recorded it, had some uploading issues, technical issues, so sorry about that. And yeah, hopefully we'll try not to miss another one, though. But
Yeah,
we
God
can
willing.
recap that card and then just move on to this meme card coming up.
Yep.
Kamaka Kelly, I don't have much to say. Close fight.
Uh, Kelly looked good. He probably was a minute winner. Kamaki gassed. My view is it's just like most of these sort of like fight past prelim fights where somebody's like randomly plus 200. You're probably not going to go wrong just playing the dog in those sorts of fights. Like what was the one the week before? Quasi versus Valiev week before this. But also just very volatile. So like trying to act like you had a genius play on a plus 200 post fight when it's just kind of like you're just kind of flipping a coin. You're just playing volatility.
Yeah, I actually played Rivera and it was one of those things where I was glad that I got the read correct that he would scramble back up. Like that's always good when you like predict something correct. But like I do think Rivera was low volume and not. I shouldn't have just assumed he would crush on the feet, because even when you're picking a sprawling brawler low level, there's just a chance he might not have a huge edge on the feet. So that was kind of like my mistake there. I don't know, shit happens,
Yeah, but like even Rivera Quasi, like we chatted about this last week, we didn't get to publish it, but like I was on Kaisi, but like I wasn't particularly annoyed about it. Like I felt Rivera won like 9 minutes of the fight. Rivera's round 3 was the most dominant part of the fight, and like it's also I'm just kind of staring at the volatility. It's not like I've got a deep amount of tape on Kaisi or something like that where I'm going
sure.
like. Even this week with Semelsberger versus Minus or whatever, you're just staring at the volatility, really.
Yeah, for sure. It's just kind of a whatever. Kamaka Kelly was just seemed like a pretty close fight. I feel like either guy could have won. Dawkins and Porter. I like Dawkins' brother. I just think he's kind of underrated, Kyle Dawkins. So I was happy to see his brother get a win. But I don't know. Good punching from the inside, but kind of lower level heavyweight. I feel Dawkins wasn't that bad though.
I hit Dawkins like plus 130 early in the week just because I was like, this is a coin flip. But like Dawkins, I felt Dawkins was like a 55% favorite kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
Staring at the volatility once again, like I'm not gonna say I called Dawkins being anything, but like I felt like his strike had a bit more process than Porter, and he was younger, so I felt there was more upside for random improvement. Like I'm not gonna rely on the random improvement, but I'm like, why Porter's like 15 years into his career and pretty old, while Dawkins was less time into his career and younger. So I was like, if anybody's gonna suddenly be better than tape, I'd imagine it'd be Dawkins.
Oh, and I mean, it's not like you can rely on it, but it's still baked into the percentages, even if it's like a 2% swing, which 2% over a year can make you profitable.
Exactly. Like, yeah, I don't rely on it, but in terms of like using like growth trajectories to just be like, I was probably gonna bet this guy anyway.
Yeah.
And maybe I've got a 3% chance this guy maybe I've got whatever chance this guy just being better than he was on tape. I was gonna bet him on tape regardless. Sure. The issue is more when you just start punting wildly, the guy's gonna get better.
Yeah.
Whereas it's like Edmund or something like that, where people are just like, well, I think Edmund's really good prospects. And I think Edmund will just be better than he's shown on tape, and like that's ridiculous. But when it's like a dog or something, it's just like, yeah, I'd take him anyway. But like, yeah,
Yeah, for sure. Yoder Souza, I barely had plays. I'll mention the ones that I do have whenever I get to them. But Yoder Souza, I kind of leaned Yoder. I didn't play her though. I honestly, I thought it was. I kind of thought she had won, but I was very leisurely watching it. Like I was not really focused in this fight, But I wasn't really paying attention to Twitter either. What was the consensus here? Did people just think Souza won, or was I going crazy?
I hit Yoda like plus 300 during round 2 because I felt like it was like a worse split decision at that point.
Yeah.
I think people were annoyed about Yoda, but because she was a dog and all that.
MMA.
I felt like a clear value at plus 300. but like apparently the judges just gave Souza both the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, MMA decisions. I mean, it was really close. Like that was like a classic split decision. But I wouldn't say I thought Yoder. Whenever I say I think someone won, I still understand it was like a very narrow. It's still like borderline even 50-50. It was a really close fight. But I was just kind of surprised there was like 30-27s and whatnot. But yeah, it looks like the decisions mostly went with Yoder. Like, and I kind of had thought she had won, but I thought it was really close. Like,
Yeah, I had it like my expectation was like Yoder like 60-40 going into the decision. Like she didn't run away with it, but also I'm kind of surprised. But also even the scorecards actually gave her, I'm surprised nobody gave her round 2.
Yeah.
Like, my read was I felt like Souza was more live to get round 3 than she was round 2. But again, like MMA judging's gonna do what it does. Like, I'm annoyed about the plus 300 live bet because I felt that was clear EV, but also just kind of coin flippy split decision, whatever.
Yeah. Brown Chavez, I kind of thought I decided not to play this fight just because Chavez was such a question mark, and I think he turned out like as good as he could have been. Like I mean, his grappling was actually kind of impressive just from a defensive point of view. But no, he just kind of seems okay, and Brown just kind of swung for a while. Yeah, I don't have much to say. I didn't play this fight.
Yeah, pretty much. I feel like Brown should have tried wrestling a bit more immediately and with a bit more sort of immediate push for it. He would have probably opened up everything.
Agreed.
But he didn't.
He could have gassed him sooner, I feel.
Yeah, and also just like he wouldn't have given so much time for the calf kicks to add up and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Like with the calf kicks, I feel like as a fighter, you have to get to a certain point, be like, I can't check these kicks, I have to swing.
Yeah.
Like, you get to lose on the outside if you can't check leg kicks, so you have to crash the pocket. Like, remember Morales versus Gutierrez?
Yeah.
Vince Morales versus Gutierrez.
Yeah.
Like it was a leg kick TKO, and like Gutierrez Morales just kept hanging out on the outside trying to box with him from distance. And it was just like, you have to swing.
Yeah.
Like it's not gonna get any better if you ain't leg kicks. It's not like you're suddenly gonna be able to figure out how to out jab the leg kicks. You're gonna have to at some point bite the mouthpiece.
Yeah, you have to either know how to check it like Fiziev against Jacasey. Like Fiziev obviously knew how to check leg kicks, or you have to pressure, right? Or grapple or something, getting the inside.
Yeah, like, but if you know you can't check them, you have to grapple, or you just have to try and make something happen. Like, if you game like if you've absorbed 2 leg kicks and you're like, fuck, I don't know how to deal with these, you're gonna have to go forward.
For sure. Yeah. Like I pretty much agree with your assessment there. But Jandaroba and Herrig, this was on our recording. I kind of like said I thought the Jandaroba subline was way off. Like I thought it was over 50%. Like I had mentioned to you, and I was right about, or I was wrong about a few other fights, but this was one of the ones that was actually. I had her in parlay too, but it didn't cash, which I'll talk about later. But I played a little bit on Jandaroba sub. I talked about it on that, but yeah, like Jandaroba's legit, man. She's a really good grappler, and I'd kind of seen people not really like her wrestling, but I totally disagree. I think her wrestling's really good too. I mean, she honestly, in that Esparza fight, I felt like she was the better fighter. It was really, she kind of lost like one more minute than she lost like one more minute in round 3, right? Like she won round 2. And then I feel like she just wasn't the first one like going for takedowns in that fight. But Carla really didn't have anything for her as far as like threatening or anything. She could kind of just lay on top. But Jandaroba could actually sweep her and get different positions. And Carla's legit. I mean, I think Carla's a top 10 ever at women's. I mean, it's still not an evolved sport yet. Eventually she'll get passed up. But yeah, like I think Jandy is really legit. I've been saying this for a long time.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where because she looks like she does, and because she's not like clearly athletic, people kind of underrate her. I feel like.
Yeah.
Like I just feel like if she was like a muscular Brazilian person, the exact same skill set, she would probably like minus 500 in some of these spots. But because she just looks not athletic, I think honestly the market prices that in pretty strongly.
I mean, this is what she is. She's pretty much a Sparza. Like, I think her wrestling's very similar as far as like ability. I really think they have like similar wrestling ability. She's pretty much a Sparza with subs and passing ability. So like I think she could probably finish fights. That's the one thing about Esparza. It's not like she's gonna finish many fights. Where like I'm pretty sure Carla's fought Felice, but I wouldn't pick Carla to get a finish there, right? But at least Jandaroba has finishing upside. So I really think Jandaroba will have success. I just think I still thought she looked good in that Esparza fight. It was just kind of Esparza happened to shoot before her in 2 rounds, right? That's all it really was.
Yeah, it was a tiny margin.
Yeah.
Also, just from a sub point of view, this is a personal thing that annoys me, but I hate top control armbars. Like she's good at them, but it's just of all the submissions, don't go for fucking armbars.
Yeah, she's one person who I'm not advocating for it. Like I still prefer her not to do it, but I'm more okay with her doing it than others just because she actually has sweeps from bottom to where she can get back up, you know? So like it because even against Esparza's really good at holding people down. Like we've been seeing that time and time again. And Jandaroba was sweeping up. So I think like I don't think Felice Herrig's gonna hold her down for huge stretches personally. Just like I was really impressed with their sweeping game against Esparza. So that's one thing. But I agree with you from a overall point of view for sure.
Like there are some people who are good enough at armbars that can go for him, like him. But even like Werdum or something, and he is probably one of the best armbar specialists to ever live.
Yeah.
He's lost fight. Yeah, he lost the Atlantic fight because he was going for armbars. No other reason.
Yeah.
Like if he had just stayed in the back, he would have been fine.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, he
gave
away the fight. Yeah,
twice.
Yeah.
And against Gustafsson, he hit it against Gustafsson. When I was watching him live doing that, I was like, if you fuck this up, you're probably gonna gas and lose the fight.
If you're up big or something, I think it's fine. Or if like whatever, you know, or if you're behind, that's fine. But yeah, I agree. If it's kind of the fight still needs to be played out and the scoreboard still means something, it's probably dumb. But Jandy fights smart though. Like I watched her fight against Mizuki because I was taping Mizuki and Lemos, and I watched it before the Felice fight too. But she has good process. Like she'll go for those arm bars, but she generally like will hang on the back and make good decisions, I feel.
Yeah, she's a solid fighter.
For sure. Yeah, but we both liked her for a while. Like even before I don't know. I just feel like for a few fights now, I think she's
the sub prop on her 2 fights in a row. I'm probably just get a touch of sub props for the most part, just because she's got such a high process grappling style too. Because it's like she's gonna get the sub if you're worse than her.
Yeah,
and it's usually like plus 250. And it's like I'd rather have Jandaroba sub at like what was the money line close at minus 250.
Yeah.
Ish. Yeah, so I'd rather have Jandaroba sub than at plus 200 or plus 250 than I would moneyline at minus 250, because if she is getting her game plan to work, she is going to have like a 50% chance, 50% plus chance of subbing the person.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt just because even people I respect kind of thought Herrig had a shot here, but I felt very strongly Jandaroba was just going to murk her. It was just better passer. Felice, I mean, and I think people were getting tricked by Felice because she like randomly, sneakily just hasn't fought many grapplers. And the time she kind of has, it's been spread out over years, and she's looked awful. And Jandy is way better than any grappler she's faced. So, Pischel and Miller, this is my other lean I didn't play. I thought Pischel was going to win. I pretty much thought what happened was going to happen. But round 3 was like, somewhat I feel like if Miller could have got top position, you know, earlier in the round, maybe something could have happened, but Pischel pulled away.
I mean, he briefly got top. He briefly reversed him, didn't he?
You know, I think I'm like, that's what I was thinking, because I thought after round, yeah, by the way, I played Pischel after round 1. I tweeted that out. I mentioned it to you during the fight, but So that was like one thing that made up for the bet that I missed later that I'll talk about. But he I felt pretty strongly like after round 1 and then once I saw round 2, I just thought round 3 would be a blowout again. And I remember being like, "Oh fuck," because I thought Miller got top position right in round 3, and then once Pischel kind of reversed it, he was fine.
Yeah, pretty much. I played Pichel like Mars 5 in the first opened, and I added some Pichel round 3 or decision at plus 175.
Yeah.
The live line was about similar to that, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Probably a better entry just because you don't. Yeah, I was taking the risk of the middle sub in round 1, but still, because live betting is a pain in the ass for me, I'd rather do it that way. Pichel's a decent fighter. Miller's gassy. Interesting to see what they do next with Pichel. Like he's about lightweight, so I don't think he's necessarily going to be able to go many other places. But yeah,
Pichel kind of reminds me of Holtzman, like good fundamental sub defense and things like that. And I feel like Gillespie, that sub was much different. It was kind of just him getting broken down by a lot of takedowns and just kind of drowned. Where that's not what Miller does. Miller's like a flash sub guy. Like Miller's hasn't landed more than 2 takedowns in a fight forever. So it's not like Miller's going to get a sub like that. And so I thought Miller's sub chances were being overblown because like Pichel knows what he's doing on the mat as far as kind of submission awareness goes. But yeah. Merab and Dotson. I mentioned the podcast. I thought Merab was gonna win. I will say, like, I tended to think the striking would be more competitive than I feel like a lot of people were kind of assuming Dotson would win on the feet. I didn't see it that way, but I also didn't see Merab kind of winning this easy either, you know?
Yeah, I felt there was sort of an ugly leg kicky distance striking split decision kind of path from Marab in the striking.
Yeah.
But I also expect Marab to get hit hard at least once. Actually, I actually like Marab's game plan a lot here. He was,
It was
very
good.
he was very all the way in, all the way out. Like I was expecting him to kind of do Marab things, and I think if he'd done like the classic Marab where he was just constantly swarming, Dodson would have hit him at some point.
Yeah.
But it's pretty clear Marab actually had a strong game plan in this one, in my opinion. Like he actually worked on Dodson's tendencies quite well. Like I was on Dodson, but I probably ended up moving more of my action into KO and into no scorecards. Honestly, even like Dodson, no scorecards at minus 160. Even in hindsight, I'm not sure if that was even that much value. Like Marab hit him pretty fucking hard.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I think it's important to kind of like look on fights upon reflection like that too. So respect you for that. But because I agree, like Merab was actually landing hard, but Dotson's still tough. I just feel like it's hard to know. I feel like neither of these guys will get many finishes in general. But
yeah, like Dodson is still
but
Dodson's probably a top 10 chin in MMA history. But even then, like there was points where Dobson got hit and he just didn't. He wasn't rocked. He just looked like I respected that I got hit very hard just then. Like Marab will launch everything strikes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like if Marab can keep that sort of game planning up, I'm actually that fight actually probably did more to solidify Marab for me than any of the sort of Kenny ones or anything like that.
See,
like he showed the ability to change. He adapted to his opponent quite well.
For sure. Yeah. The thing is, I wrote on my write up on my breakdown that I really thought Merab had a good chance to outstrike him because I know a lot of people don't like numbers, but I still think they're really helpful. It's one of the main. I want to bet on Sanchez, and literally it was because of the distance striking numbers. You know, although that fight ended quickly, who knows how it would have played out over 3 rounds? But Merab's never been out distance struck in his career, and I know he's a lot of people, like a lot of striking wizards, don't like his striking fundamentals and everything, but just like threats of takedowns and aggression and cardio, that matters. You know, look at Colby Covington type of thing, where I mean, so like that was kind of my hunch on him being able to maybe win the striking because Dotson is more technical and he looks prettier striking, but he is low volume and Merab, you know, just like consistently outstrikes people even if it doesn't look good, you know.
Yeah, like I think Merab, there's kind of an asterisk there with the cardio thing. Because like if you look at his round ones and round twos exclusively, I think it's he's not really outstriking the same degree. But yeah, even
Agreed.
My main takeaway was more just Merab being intelligent enough to play all the way in, all the way out against Big Puncher.
It made me think his ceiling's higher too. Like in this division, I used to think he would eventually run into a wall against some really good strikers who can defend takedowns. But in a 5-rounder, he's going to be an issue for just like he's. Would you take him over Garbrandt? I would.
Yeah, after saying that, I definitely would. Probably not definitely. I wouldn't be like minus 500 sure thing, but like, yeah, after saying that, I think that game plan works against Garbrandt pretty well.
Yeah,
if he's willing to sit on the outside, throw leg kicks every so often, be annoying, and then like hit reactive takedowns when Garbrandt comes to them, I think that's a perfectly fine path to victory.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, looking at the top 15, I really think he has. I'm not saying he's going to be champ, but like I would favor him over. I would pick him to beat most of these guys. Like I'd pick him over a Sun Tzu.
I'd probably say, yeah, Santar going to take him over, Garbrandt take him over, Sterling, I think, fucks him. Yarn would be interesting. I based on the Jin 2 Sun fight, I have these takes on Yarn not liking bigger, grindier, clinchier people.
Like Marlon Moraes, Merab, especially in a 5-rounder.
Kill him, right? The issue with Mirage is always that kind of like, it's that 7 minutes versus whatever the other guy's going to do.
I just feel like if Merab, especially in a 5-rounder, if Merab survived early, I feel like he would just take over. Like, look what Cejudo did, you know? But I don't know. It's hard to know. I'm just saying, I used to think Merab had a ceiling. I tend to. I just didn't see him ever like threatening to become champion, and now I wouldn't be shocked. Like, it still won't be easy, but I don't know. Like,
I mean,
and I've been high on him for a while. That was a good performance against Dodson, but I still need to see more for sure.
Yeah, like that performance to me upgraded him as like the top 10 gatekeeper to actually being like a legit top 5 in my opinion.
For sure, agreed.
Like, there's some weird matchups. Like, how would Munhoz Rob go? That'd be a strange fight. I mean, that'd be incredible. I think it'd be an incredible fight. I'm just like, how the fuck would you? What the fuck happens there?
I've been a huge advocate of Munhoz's wrestling defense for a while. Like, I didn't think Sterling would get him down. And he kept standing, but Sterling landed 174 significant strikes. Main reason I played him against Sandhagen. But I think that would be a firefight. I have to think about it. Munhoz and Merab. It'd be a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, again, like, I think Merab's definitely, like, he's just basic cardio makes him ridiculous, but just the fact he's now shown a level of intellect around that cardio just puts him up a fair bit. Rivera and Merab would be interesting too.
I think Rivera would be a tougher matchup for him. I think that's one. Rivera's really skilled on the feet, and he's not a guy who's going to be easy to take down at all. That's a guy who I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they match that up next. I feel like they're going to try to like want Merab to lose just because I just feel like the casual fan will be hard to sell him to, you know, but
I don't think he's that. Like, he fights pretty entertaining, and like, he's got an interesting personality. The main issue I'd see is that he can't really get to the title contention because of Sterling. Because Sterling and him are fucking training partners.
I would love to see those two just go, you know.
Yeah, 5-round Sterling Rob would be great.
Oh yeah, I mean that would be an awesome fight. Like, it's crazy that they're training partners, but oh yeah, I mean we can move on. We talk a lot of Merab on the show. He's been our boy for a while, so Pineda. Speaking of your boy, Daniel Pineda, and your boy Herbert Burns. You love Herbert Burns. I'm sure you're sad to see this.
Oh, it was awful. Herbert Burns is very bad at MMA.
Yeah,
I continuously said this.
Yeah, agreed. Like I haven't been high on him either. I mean, like
there's not high, and there's Herbert Burns.
yeah. He just. I mean, this just goes to show how first round finishes are overvalued. So that's all it is, you know.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, against Dunham, he just got like a first-minute back take. Against Lambert, he just landed a knee in a striking exchange he was otherwise losing.
Yeah, I know.
And even here, like, he almost won the fight off that single knee he landed.
Yeah.
Like, if that fight had gone to the end of round 2, I honestly think it was possible Pineda would have been stopped. Like, did you see Pineda's eye during the interview?
Yeah.
It was completely shut.
Yeah.
Which would have been imagine if that happened. What meme shit? Like, if Burns is just not good at anything but like jiu-jitsu for 4 minutes.
Yeah, it's just he's just not made to win rounds. That's all it is, you know. But like he's got finishing upside. Like he can finish some people. It's just if that doesn't happen and finishes, it's just sometimes those finishes don't come. They don't always come, and that's why being a round winner is very important. But yeah, I'm a pussy though. I didn't play Pineda. I picked him on my breakdowns, but I did not play him. So I'm a little bitch. Go on.
I was bigger on Pineda KO than I probably mid-size on Pineda, but also was kind of hoping that Pineda would lose, so Burns could be like minus 300 against somebody trustworthy. But yeah, I'm fine with that outcome. Fuck Burns.
And I'm not hating on Burns. It's just his process of winning fights, and it's more so I'm hating on first round finishes. It's not Burns. It's just first round finishes get overvalued, and I'm always going to say that. Rosenstruck and JDS. Whatever. Like heavyweight shit.
I had a bit of GTD I was annoyed about, but like my view was it was just like unless they swing to death in the first like 2 minutes, this is going to look like a go distance fight. Like it's heavyweights. They're both live just randomly KO each other, but like it was going to be a tempo one, and like Rosenstruck doesn't lead, or he'll lead 3 times around.
Yeah.
So Rosenstruck really only has a chance of knocking somebody out who's not going to come at him like 3 times around, so 9 times a fight really.
Yeah.
Sad for Junior Dos Santos. Santos was a minute winner there, in my opinion, but heavyweight gonna heavyweights.
Yeah, it was a pretty competitive fight until that point, though. Like I thought JDS was probably winning some of the exchanges, but it was still. I never felt like anyone was running away with anything. Like it was close, and just is what it is.
Yeah, I'm checking the fight metric for it. I had Junior Dos Santos like winning the first round, but like it's heavyweight. Like Dos Santos randomly dying or random flurry turning a round was just always in the cards.
Oh, whoa! I'm really surprised Rosenstruck outstruck him this much. Like I tended to think it was just really close.
Yeah, I am really dubious of that. 12 on the ground, though.
12 on the ground. Yeah. Okay. Well, still, he outlanded him 30-24 at distance. Like if you said someone was up 30-24, I would have thought it was JDS. But like I said, it was really close. Like I didn't. I just remember thinking it was a really really close fight.
20 of those leg kicks though. 20 leg kicks.
Okay, maybe that's why it makes a little more sense now.
Yeah, like if you take out the head, if you take out the headshots, it was like head/body was like 18-10 from JDS in favor.
Yeah,
just taking out the ground strikes. I assume the ground strikes be head strikes and taking out the leg kicks.
Okay, that makes sense because I thought it still means it was a pretty close fight, which is kind of what I thought. I was surprised Rosenstruck was up that much on the strikes, but okay, makes sense.
Yeah, like if you take out leg kicks, it was 14. It was 9-5 significant strikes from round 1. I feel like they're doing more than that. Yeah, whatever.
Who cares? It's heavyweight. Vero and O'Malley. I had O'Malley parlayed up with Jandiroba. I've seen like bad takes on both ends on this. I think people who just think O'Malley was a bad play because of that outcome are just kind of dumb. I mean, he injured himself 2 minutes in. So you didn't really get to play it out. But I also think, and I'm one of them who played O'Malley, I think people who are saying like, oh, he was easy money until his leg break. I did think he got kind of the better of the exchanges until that point, but it was only a minute and a half of fighting. Like I don't know I don't know who the value side is. I would have to see that fight play out because we just need more of a sample. You hear me? So that's kind of where I was. Like I kind of have a neutral opinion on it. I just feel like we didn't see enough to even know what to really think. But I do think one thing that was favoring O'Malley was the tempo of the fight. Like I felt like Vera wasn't really pushing a pace, and O'Malley could have maybe won that like gassing path to victory that people talked about. I didn't think it was as high as others, but Vera wasn't taking advantage of that, I guess, at that tempo. But still, it was a minute and a half of fighting. Who knows?
Yeah, I actually agree on all. I was like medium on Vera, and I agree on all counts. Like, I felt Mally was kind of showing me like Mally had the right approach. I didn't feel like Vera had the right approach
Yeah,
off that 90-second sample.
yeah,
But like, Vera has been known to just do nothing in round one, and then
yeah.
just decide he's throwing 100 strikes a minute from the rest of the fight. So it is possible Vera would have just switched on. But like,
100% agreed with that, and that's why I think people who are saying oh, like O'Malley was value until the leg break. It's like I kind of expected him to win at that point anyway. It's just like we need to see more because Vera does tend to kind of come forward more later in the fight and pressure more. So that I totally agree.
yeah, like I think, I personally think Mally wasn't valued at plus minus 250 or whatever it was, but like I was betting Vera for that reason. But like nothing we saw really says.
Yeah, it's like I think we're still at the same point. Like you probably think Vera is still value, but you don't know for sure. And I kind of think O'Malley was value, or else I wouldn't have bet him. But I still don't know for sure. Like I think we're just kind of stuck at stage one, right? We didn't see enough.
Yeah, like I felt like what we saw, like eliminated. Like I was hoping Vera was going to be busier earlier, but also like
Yeah.
it wasn't like Mally like immediately KO'd him or something.
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. It was
You know what I mean? Yeah, like it eliminated two of the sort of situations, but also like it eliminated the very favorable Mally situation, and also eliminated the very favorable Vera situation.
for sure.
So it's like, yeah, rerun. I would price the same price would be fine by me, honestly. Like my view was like Vera plus 150 anyway, but like that fight meant nothing.
I think before the leg break, O'Malley was like minus 400, which just he was landing some good body and body and leg strikes. Like they were actually kind of buckling Vera, but like I said, I just it just wasn't enough. I would need to see. I would just need to see more. And I was a guy who felt strongly O'Malley had like an advantage on the numbers, but you still need to see how it plays out because Vera pressures a lot differently and throws leg kicks, which is something a lot of his O'Malley's previous opposition didn't really do. So I still would need to see it play out. And so like I think we're on the same page. Like we just didn't see enough, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Like I am happy whenever something hilarious happens to a minus 300, just on general principle.
For sure. Yeah.
That's what you get for playing juice, because I don't believe in playing juice.
Yeah. Like I'm not really against. Like I'll play an underdog. Like I played Sanchez. Like I'll play Juice just if I just think there's line value. But
Yeah, I agree conceptually, but just my personal preference in UFC as a view is usually I just don't believe in playing juice.
Yeah, that's kind of like your overall just umbrella view, which is fine. There's just differences in betting philosophies. I mean, there's different ways to skin a cat. But I hear you. Let's what was the next? Oh yeah, Stipe Cormier. I expected kind of like I didn't really know what to expect. Honestly, I felt like a KO could have landed for either guy. I felt like if it went to the decision, it would probably be kind of back and forth. Stipe looked a lot better in this fight. He actually like moved his fucking head a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. It was whatever.
I have a hot take here, but I think after playing Miocic in every single iteration of this, I think Cormier was value in the final fight. Like, without Miocic getting the knockdown at the end of round two and essentially winning 2 rounds off it, I think Cormier was minute winner. especially after because based on round one he wasn't doing much, but in round two he was clearly running away after round and got knocked down with 15 seconds left. He was still disabled throughout round three, and then by the time round four or round five rocked around again, I felt like he was kind of back to just kind of leading in volume and busyness.
That is a hot take. I just felt like it was pretty competitive, but I felt like I
think DC 60%. I don't think DC 100%.
I just felt like I thought it was really important that Stipe was able to control him up against the cage at times too. I think that's big. But dude, the numbers are really close. It was 101 to 95. I just thought it was a close fight. It was 101 to 95 in distance strikes. Total strikes were 171, 145 to Cormier. Stipe, that just screams like a pretty close fight. And I feel like all their fights have screamed pretty close fight, you know?
I just have this feeling that without the knockdown at the end of round two, the fight could have easily gone the other way.
Could have. Who knows? Yeah.
That knockdown by timing essentially won Miocic 2 rounds.
But you never know.
He turned round two from an 80% losing round to a 100% winning round, and Cormier was clearly compromised throughout round three.
It's just really
Cormier still outran him in round two, even with the knockdown and the bunch of ground shots at the end.
But it's really hard to say that he would run away with it because, I mean, he didn't get knocked down in the first fight, and then he got knocked the fuck out in round four. You know, Cormier, he kind of just got lit up in round four. So I feel like this is just a high variance fight where each guy landed well over 100 strikes in the last two fights. I just feel like it's variance. It's just who happens to have the better rounds a couple times, you know? I don't know. I just feel like it's a close fight.
Or who gets knocked down. Yeah, fair. I agree with that. I also agree with that. I just think Cormier was a little bit busier in normalized action.
And when they both land that much, it's Cormier could have got a knockdown and Stipe couldn't have. Exactly. I think the line was fine. Pretty close. Cormier outlanded him in fight two, even though he ended up getting finished, and then Stipe outlanded him here. Strikes were literally dead even in fight one until Cormier landed that KO. It's just, it just seems like a pretty highly contested fight.
Yeah, agreed. It's just my hot take is more just I think Cormier would be busier in standard action.
Yeah, for sure.
But Miocic probably had a 30% no KO or knockdown rate, and Cormier's probably slightly lower, but whatever.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, if I saw this fight again, I'd probably cap it, pretty competitive, and I'm sure the books would too. Okay, moving on to this week's card. I've taped most of it. There's a couple fights I kind of need to look at, but Valiev, I know Valiev well, and Mark Striegl. Do you know much about this dude? I haven't taped this guy.
I had a brief look. The wrestling defense isn't really there. Valiev should just kind of Frankie Edgar him, but also I don't Valiev doesn't really put stamps in the fight to the degree I'd like at minus 500. Valiev probably just kind of control wrestles and wins rounds and wins a clear decision, but I wouldn't touch minus 600.
Yeah, I'm completely wiki capping, and I know you can't just do this, but he has a good record, 18-2. Has he fought anyone good? I literally haven't looked.
I'm just going to list off the promotions. He's fighting in the URCC, which is
a win over Kai France in 2014. Interesting.
One FC. He beat Kai France in Malaysian Invasion in 2014.
Yeah.
He's fighting in the Philippines, Malaysia, and One FC. How do you think his wrestling defense is?
Yeah. I got you.
That's pretty much it.
I'm just talking shit because I have nothing to contribute to this fight because I haven't looked at this dude. I just saw Valiev was a huge favorite, and I figured I wasn't going to miss anything. Okay, fair enough. The other fight that I haven't really looked into, but I've heard some things. I've looked at every other one. Carlton Manus and Matthew Semelsberger. I played Rick Story over Minas in PFL. I remember that. But what do you know about Semelsberger? A lot of action has come in on him, so I
Uh,
missed out on something.
High school wrestler, kind of aggressive. Minus has nothing off his back. Carlton Minus is a great name. I sort of jumped on the Steam like at plus 150, 160ish because I just was on some slight books and I was like, yeah, it's going, so I might as well get on it. But honestly, I just have an arbing view of this sort of thing. Semelsberger sub at like plus 1200. Like, if he's going to be winning, he's going to be wrestling. So it's like, I feel like it's probably the right way to play him, but garbage.
All right, yeah, probably garbage. Fuck those first two fights. Let's get to. I mean, I'll take a look at them and everything, but I just have nothing to add. I've taped everything else, and there's been so many fights and just so many line releases that I'm targeting a few future fights, so kind of been busy on that. But Solecki and Hubbard, I'll go here. I'm really torn here. I've kind of like shifted back and forth on who I think is going to win. It's tough because I'm just going to throw a bunch of thoughts out, so buckle up. But I think Solecki's striking is pretty unknown. He only landed 7 distance strikes against Wyman and only attempted 8, so I didn't like that. I watched his striking on the regionals. It looked a little better, but I definitely trust Hubbard, just because we know he actually has pretty decent striking, especially later in the fight. I don't really trust Solecki's pace, but it's still an unknown. We don't know. He could randomly outperform his striking tape, so that's kind of annoying because Hubbard's path to victory is probably sprawling and brawling, and we don't totally know where Solecki is as a striker, but I'm assuming Hubbard has the advantage there. As far as the grappling goes, I do think Solecki will land some takedowns, but I don't really like his top control other than his body triangle like his body triangle. And Hubbard does give up his back to come back up, but I if he does, he could sub him. I tend to think he won't sub him, but I think it would have to come early. But I really think Solecki's gonna have to kind of just body triangle him up to really hold him down consistently. And so I don't love that path to victory, but I don't know. What do you think? I'm really going. I'm still kind of thinking out loud about the fight.
I'm not high on Solecki, but I think he's got more cardio than Roshkov had. There's a good chance it's a pretty close, ugly just kind of decision. I think Hubbard probably wins round 3. How long can Solecki hold him down for? I don't like Solecki's striking defense, and Hubbard is just kind of like the UFC gatekeeper, in my opinion. Like, he's not good, but he's tough. He's got good cardio. He has solid output, and like, he's good enough everywhere. You kind of have like a solid idea of what you're doing to beat Hubbard.
He pretty much shows if you have a C+ everywhere, you'll win some UFC fights.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, he's for C+ everywhere, but like a B+ in durability and cardio.
Yeah.
But just like, even if somebody's a B- or B against him, the issue is just like, if you can't be that for the whole fight, he's going to make you struggle in round 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could honestly see something pretty similar to it. I could see this either going the way that Madsen fight did, where like Hubbard just kind of wins round 3 clearly, but loses 2 rounds. I could also just see Solecki gassing it earlier. I think if Hubbard can actually stop the original takedowns, Solecki's fucked though. Like, Solecki just doesn't really have much depth of game.
I don't trust Solecki to be able to consistently take him down, like, because the thing about, didn't Madsen have to land like 8 takedowns of 12? Like, I mean, Hubbard kept making him work, and I just don't trust Solecki to be able to, because a lot of them were like mat return stuff, and I feel like Hubbard's gonna work up, and the way to beat that is to put in a body triangle, which I think Solecki's capable of, or just keep getting takedowns. And I don't trust Solecki with that, with the cardio and just like the takedowns ability throughout the fight. Because even one of his takedowns on Wyman was like, I just didn't really like the takedown, and Wyman like pulled the guillotine simultaneously. It's like it just kind of looked labored and like he was tired. And he's gonna have to work here too, you know. Um, I'm going back and forth though because I also do think Solecki's gonna get off to an early lead. Like I think you probably would agree with that, right? It's like Solecki
Yeah,
will probably get some takedowns early. I think if you're on Hubbard, if you like Hubbard, I think it's probably smarter to maybe, if you have access to live betting, to wait just because you can mitigate that early sub risk and you can kind of just see how the fight's going. I don't know what you think of that, but I think this is just gonna. I'm torn. I've gone back and forth.
yeah, I'd agree. Like if the fight starts a minute in and Solecki just gets his first takedown stuffed, I'd like bet Hubbard pretty confidently. And if just otherwise, if Solecki's wrestling, that'd be kind of a question of cardio and how well Hubbard's getting up.
Yeah,
Like I try. I think Hubbard's definitely going to take later minutes of this fight. I just don't especially rate Solecki, but it's like, Solecki, like he's not particularly good, but at least he has a clear initiative and game plan.
I just don't trust Selecki's like wrestling and cardio throughout 15 minutes at this level. Like it's just those. Even against Wyman, there is some stuff I just didn't like from it, and Wyman is awful now. You know, I
Yeah,
mean,
he's done. He's old and he's just bad.
it like he's literally. I wouldn't take him over most. Yeah, did the Craig go?
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
Oh, is it good? Okay. I'm just saying I don't even know if I would take him over some LFA guys type of thing, you know.
Yeah, like yeah, Wyman just should retire. So that's probably the best way of putting it. Yeah, I think Hubbard's gonna pick up steam later on, and it's like it's also my angle is kind of like I think Hubbard will eventually win minutes, and like if Solecki can't wrestle him or can't just make it happen, like it's good. I think Hubbard probably has more upside here. Oh no, I'm hoping Hubbard gets like plus 140. If Hubbard gets plus 150, I'll play him, but not quite yet. Let's check what he is in exchange. And I think it's been money come back. Some money has come back on Hubbard though. Yeah, it has.
Yeah, it has a little bit. Yeah, I'll just eye the line. I don't know. I'm torn on the fight, and I just don't have a good feeling about it either way. Like I see red flags both sides. Um, I don't like Hubbard's 50% takedown defense, but to be fair to him, he's gone against good grapplers too. So I don't know. Moving on to another interesting fight, Mizuki and Lemos.
Um, I think Mizuki should just kind of win minutes here over time because she's like very difficult to sub. She's more coherent game plan wise, and like Lemos just seems like she has a minute or she has like a round of cardio and just I don't know. I don't think Minoa is a lot more complete as a fighter. I'm kind of surprised by the live movement here, honestly. Like even against Granger, like I saw people saying like she looked like an elite grappler, and like Granger like, kind of got up and all that. And the sub was like the ugliest, stupidest
She
side
did
naked
not
choke.
grappler. I watched her grappling, and I watched that fight. She did not look like an elite grappler. She's. I will say one thing that I'm confident in this fight is I do not think she can sub Mizuki at all.
Yeah, agreed. Like
I
it's
understand
crazy.
there's percentages and shit. I think it's very low percentage though, extremely low percentage.
It'd have to be a very weird club sub or just like some random opportunistic guillotine. Yeah, she just high rolls a guillotine kind of deal.
I
But like,
watched
I can't see how she like process subs in a way.
I watched anyway 5 rounds against Jandaroba. Jandaroba is way better than Lemos as as a submission grappler and as a passer and advancer. And Mizuki knows what she's doing. Like to be able to survive that long, like 5 rounds with her, and just her guard retention's good. Um, she knows how to shrimp back. She knows, yeah. Like I mean, she's just solid. I just don't. Lemos is gonna have to knock her out if she wants to finish her, in my opinion. Like I'm not so close minded to say it's never gonna happen. I just think it's below 5%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think between Lemos kind of having lack of process issues. If it in no way goes to grapple, I think in no way beats in the grappling pretty emphatically. Cause Granger, she was playing guard fine there, and she almost got back on top and all that, and she just kind of wedged herself awkwardly into the cage. Lemos kind of has gas tank issues. Yeah, I think anyway it should be a fairly big. It should be at least minus 200, minus 250. I feel like people are just kind of looking at Lemos's game and being optimistic about the parts that work and not really considering it as a whole.
Yeah, as far as other aspects of the fight, only thing I've really said so far is I don't think Amanda can sub Mizuki. As far as the fight itself, I think it kind of just depends on Amanda's cardio. I I think she gassed hard against Smith, you know. That fight was 3 years ago though. Um, but I think she has some good body kicks and leg kicks, Lemos. She was even showing that in that first fight. She outstruck Smith in that first round, but then she just gassed and got exhausted and got destroyed, you know. And Mizuki will walk you down for the whole fight and throw, you know. Mizuki's got really good cardio, so I feel like if Amanda doesn't gas, I feel like this is going to be close. I feel like if she gasses, Mizuki's going to destroy her late. But and then on the mat, I think Amanda could maybe hold stretches of top position, but I don't think she can threaten with anything unless if she lands. She's aggressive with ground and pound. She can maybe land something, but that it would have to be something like that. Where I do think Mizuki could actually pass, an actually advanced position. She actually knows jujitsu on top. Where I feel like Lemos is just, I don't trust her to actually advance position much. But that's kind of how I see the fight. I really think it comes down to Lemos's cardio.
I feel like if Lemos's cardio holds out, I still favour Noah to just kind of win the
Would you?
decision.
Okay.
Yeah. Fair enough. I think she's a big grappler. I think that a lot of what Lemos is doing kind of relies on these big high amplitude or kicks and that sort of stuff. I think if Noah gets on top, Lemos probably isn't getting back up again. I just generally like Noah's game. Noah's got issues of being small, but Lemos isn't. Lemos is only an inch taller than her, so for once that's not a huge deal.
Mizuki's she's a skilled fighter.
Yeah, she is. Yeah. And I don't usually play camps that much, but I like how she's out of Sarah Longo these days and that sort of stuff. And I like Sarah Longo a lot as a game planning camp.
Yeah.
It's weird. Sarah Longo is really good at the game planning camp with some guys, but some guys just never change. But I know that's MMA for you.
Sarah, I was really the best wrestling grappling advice I've seen mid fight, not even mid round, just during the fight, was Kenny Marab. If you just listen to both of their, who's Kenny's camp? Those guys are really smart with just wrestling. I don't I don't know who it is, but I think for some reason I think Soto is maybe, or Kariasa, one of those guys is maybe in there, but
he's MMA Lab and Rise Combat Sports, whatever Rise Combat Sports is.
Okay, yeah, those guys are they're just very blue collar, no grappling, and Matt Serra during that fight too was just giving awesome grappling advice to Marab. I was really impressed overall, but anyway, back to this. Yeah, I like that camp, and I don't put too much stock into that when predicting a fight. I know a lot of people like to do that, but it's just the way I see it with camps is CM Punk could train at fucking ATT, and I don't know. Any fighter could train drunk and not even fucking train. They're gonna beat CM Punk. I know that's an argument to the absurd, but that's just kind of my points. I just feel like performances, what you see in the cage matters, type of thing, and not so much the camp. But people are gonna disagree with me on that, though.
I also like Inoue sub at plus 675.
Yeah, getting back off topic. I could see that. Yeah.
Pick if Lemos' cardio issues.
Yeah, for sure.
Just Lemos seems very aggressive and Lemos just seems like a very aggressive sort of character. So I could just see her if she gets on bottom starting to do stupid shit.
See, that's the thing on this fight is I think it's funny. The inside the distance line for Lemos is they're saying she has a better chance for a finish. I disagree with that. It says she is inside the distance at plus 285. I do not think she can sub Inoue, and I don't think she has a particular good chance of knocking her out either. Like Inoue actually is just a seasoned striker. She's tough, durable, and has a cardio edge. So I feel like Lemos has basically a 7-minute window if her cardio's not there for a standing women's MMA knockout. I just don't see it. I mean, Lemos was literally knocked dead already by Leslie Smith, and like so Inoue has just a chance to knock her out if she gets tired. And I'm not like saying that's going to happen. I just think it's higher chance than Lemos's finish. And then also Mizuki's actually a pretty good sub artist too. Like she's a good grappler, and I just think it's possible she it's a higher chance she gets a sub than Lemos, definitely.
And also, like, women's strawweight KOs are about 9% clip. And just looking at the list of them, if you removed like positional ground and pound KOs,
Yeah.
it would be 3 or 4%.
Oh yeah, it's so
Like
rare.
Hill Sippers was Mount TKO, Kim Kasem was Nadia Kasem, Hill Carnelossi was a cut stoppage, Zhang Andrade was an actual KO, Andrade Namajunas was meme slam KO, Macy Barber, but Macy Barber's Macy Barber. Andrade, yeah, they're just actual like standing KOs and women's MMA are pretty fucking rare. Particularly if like it's not somebody who is just not UFC caliber in there. Like
Exactly.
I can't imagine Lemos is just going to mount Inoue and KO her.
No,
Like-
it's just I don't think she can get a ground finish, and that's the thing. And so it's like Mizuki's tough too. Like she just seems like a tough, durable girl, like a come forward, good cardio. I just feel like she'll be tough to put away. But
yeah, great.
I don't have
Something
any.
else to tell you.
I don't even think I'm gonna touch the money line because I honestly just I want to see if Lemos gasses, and I feel like she could win the first round. But after that, I cannot trust her after seeing that Smith fight. Like that was awful. And that Granger, I wasn't really impressed by that upon rewatch. But who knows? I'll look deeper into that fight though. But Sato Rodriguez, what do you think here?
Rodriguez should be a lot busier. Sato swings hard. Sato's probably KO or bust, but I think there's a good chance Sato gets a knockdown or has like a big moment of hurting him. I'd rather play Sato plus 140 in those scorecards than his money line. Yeah. Like Rodriguez should be a minute winner, but like Sato does swing.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Could maybe be a little bit wider just on volley, because I just think Sato decisions are is unlikely.
Agreed.
But like I think in terms of like inside distance, probably quite a similar chance because like Sato does hit very hard. But yeah.
Yeah, I think yeah, I think Rodriguez should win. I like his volume, but he's also a pretty skilled. I was impressed by his performance against Means. Like a lot of people were kind of saying Means was dominating that fight. I disagree. Like I thought it was very competitive, even to that knockdown at the end of round 1. And the numbers show it too. Like he outboxed Means to the head like pretty considerably too. But like he's skilled, and I looked, and he actually does have boxing experience, and like I think it kind of shows. Like he just parries off shots well, and he has a good jab. I don't know. I just think he's a pretty good fighter, but like kind of like you said, I just feel like Sato's probably KO or bust. How hard of a hitter do you think Sato is? Because it's hard for me to measure someone's KO power when they're knocking out undurable fighters like Ben Saunders and that other dude he just knocked out who's been knocked out like 5 times on the regionals. So like is he that hard of a hitter, Sato?
I think he's like an 8 out of 10 hitter. Like he's definitely, I think he's definitely a UFC carry threat, but he's not like Nagano. Also, he's not a huge hitter. But also, I think Rodriguez, just by virtue of how Rodriguez fights, will give him opportunities. I actually played the under 2.5 here for a unit, just at like, I think it's like minus 110 or something. Because I'm pretty confident Rodriguez, and I don't like Sato's cardio either. And Sato's career is like, he's been over 2 rounds like twice.
Yeah.
Like, he's one of those guys who, when pressured, will plant and swing, which I think helps the under. Like, he's not gonna just like decide to lose. There's a very good chance that he actually tries to swing his way out of trouble, which I think with a guy like Rodriguez will probably end up getting them both into a stupid swinging match.
Yeah, Rodriguez though, if you watch him, like he like he'll get hit and everything, but he actually doesn't get hit to the head that often. If you really look into his metrics and just I don't know if you're taping, just watch his fights. Like look, he doesn't get hit clean. Like a lot of the Gabriel Green stuff was like little body kicks and like body strikes and leg strikes, and that's kind of what Means did too. But they both, for how much they threw to the head, just watch Rodriguez's boxing defense to the head. Like he just rolls with shots well, and I feel like he doesn't get hit clean too often. But he kind of still is in a little bit of a firefight to where Sato could knock him out, but I feel like that's kind of all Sato has. Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. Like,
Yeah.
I like the unders. I feel like there's a good chance they both end up swinging at some point. I'd rather play Sato no scorecards and Sato moneyline. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, moving on. Agapova Dobson. Yeah, like Agapova should win. Line can't touch that. Any thoughts?
Yeah, line's line's probably a bit stupid because like that's starting to push up against random shit happens territory.
Yeah.
Dobson Cachoeira is one of the funniest fights ever.
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was. Somebody had like 10 units on Dobson, I know. I was just, it was with the live chat. It was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Cachoeira just destroys her. It was great.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure they're probably listening and I just brought up bad memories, but that was funny as fuck, you must admit.
Yeah, like I mean, yeah, pass, whatever. Like Agapova should probably win, but minus 1250, you're just playing with fire. But yeah, she should light her up. I agree. Rodriguez Prachino. Oh, so this just seems like a Gugabe fight. So what's the play here? What are you maxing on this end?
Prachino KO plus 500, easy. But honestly, like they're both aggressive. They're both swinging the middle. Rodriguez doesn't shoot takedowns. Prachino doesn't hit hard to get swing. Why is it plus 500?
If I had enough of a gambling problem to where I was forced to play this fight, that honestly would probably be like, if I was just trying to like get value, that's probably what I would do, because it could happen. Like Prachino can swing a little bit, but this fight's fucking stupid.
Yeah, but I just don't see it. I don't think Rodriguez should be minus 250. Put it that way.
Against really anyone, I agree.
Like Rodriguez, he's a fairly hittable striker. Like I played him against Da Han Jung because I was expecting the leg kicks to work, and then he just got maimed by Da Han Jung. I don't think Prachino is any worse than Da Han Jung, so like exact same win conditions here. Like KO's plus 500, Prachino round 1's plus 900.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a greater than 10% chance that Prachino just kills him in round 1.
It'd be fucking weird. Oh god.
It's just how Prachnio's aggressive and will throw big.
Yeah, it's like the funny thing is his regional tape wasn't that bad. And he got knocked out just in the first round a couple times. So I hear you where he could just be undervalued here for sure.
Even against, I bet on Sam Alvey because Sam Alvey was like plus 250 against him when that fight happened. I bet Sam Alvey pretty big. But like against Alvey, he wasn't doing too bad for minutes and just walked into Alvey's counters. And against Ankalaev, it's like it's Magomed Ankalaev.
He literally walked into the counter at the end. Have you seen that? Just hands down. Like dude, have you seen that? Like he literally walked in a way where like you'd be walking, I don't know, in the grocery store or something. Like it didn't even look like he was fighting. He just got I think he was already stunned, to be fair, but he literally got decapitated by just
I made like 20 units of that fight, so I do remember it pretty well. Like Alvey KO1 was like plus 1200 or so. The pricing was very bad.
Yeah.
Alvey was like plus 200, and he was coming off the Amiv loss, I'm pretty sure. And people were like, oh, Alvey's done. I'm like, this is going to be a retarded swinging match. Like, if Prachino is fighting, I'm pretty sure I'm getting a retarded swing match. So why not just steer into the retarded swing match?
I agree with the play. It's just not my style. But like I mean, it's just I think as a better, you just got to stick to like that's your style, and mine's kind of like more like data and numbers and stuff. And it's just like I said earlier in the podcast, there's like different ways to do it, you know. But like I agree, like that would be the approach if that was my style.
It's like my philosophy here is like, there's no shame in getting knocked out by Ankalaev. Like, Prachino didn't look any worse against Ankalaev than anybody else in UFC has standing.
Yeah, it just is what it is. Like Ankalaev is really good, and I hear you. Like I honestly think this line's off. The more I think about it, because I did not think Prachino was that bad on tape. He didn't look any worse than Rodriguez was. Like I bet if he was debuting, the Ankalaev fight you can pretty much throw out the window, and then Alvi, it was just I don't know, a knockout. It just happened.
And I think he gets too much shit for walking into the second knockdown, where in my opinion he was unconscious after.
Oh, dude, I agree. Like I was just talking shit because it was funny, like just to watch. But it I 100% he was stunned. Like I mean, I don't think he would do that. He's not stunned. He literally had no idea where the fuck he was. I don't even think he knew he was in a fight anymore.
Yeah, it was a great moment in Sam Alvey history, but like, why is he plus 200 here? Like, I think Rodriguez. Actually, no. If this plays out, I think Rodriguez's leg kicks are there because like Prachino is weird because he throws a lot of leg kicks, but he also can't check them.
Yeah,
I've never understood how guys get like that. It's just like you've clearly spent the time learning how to throw leg kicks. How have you not expanded this technique into
defense
checking leg kicks?
Yeah,
particularly when like I assume you are training. Whoever's taught you how to leg kick, you must be training against. So what do you do while they leg kick you in training?
Yeah.
And also the issue of Prachino is that he's come from like Kyokushikan karate, I think, where you can't punch the face. So he enjoys his really long lead body strikes, which are just a bizarre decision outside of Kyoshi. Like I sat through a bunch of his Kyokushikan tape, and it's just like two guys in geese punching each other in the body. So like he hasn't really adapted to striking to MMA.
Rodriguez inside the distance is minus 150.
Yeah, and also the other issue is that like one of these two, because they both got knocked out brutally, like could randomly decide to now playing, they're just get be a coward.
Yeah. Prachino fought Rakic back in the day.
Yeah, like even his career losses aren't that bad. And like even like I know Sam Alvey is hilarious, but like Ryan Spann almost got knocked out by Sam.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's a meme fight. I'm not playing it, but is what it is. But speaking of meme fights, lots of Meinfield and OSP. If you like OSP, wait till after round 1, right? I mean, I'm not betting this fucking fight either. It's fucking stupid. But I feel like if Meinfield doesn't get him taken out, I don't trust Meinfield late. But I don't know. This fight's so dumb.
Meinfield does have a win over ranked light heavyweight at least.
Paul, correct?
Yes.
Oh god.
Actually, said this fight, I think we're just like.
Yeah.
Like we need to like yearly round of pressure one. We talk over it and like somehow and repeat this, and really dig into Craig Shogun one, so we can be prepared for Craig Shogun 2.
Well, we'll have a special bonus episode where we just talk about that fight for an hour preview. All right.
Yeah, I'll have that. Like, page on. Yeah, good idea. As far as this is concerned, yeah.
Yeah, it's fuck. There's a lot of fucking messes on this fight on this card.
The ideal outcome here is Meinfield KO1, so people randomly decide to get back on the pipe train, and then he's minus 500 in his next fight, in my opinion.
Agreed. Yeah, it's just he might knock him out. If he doesn't, I don't trust Meinfield. I trust Like OSP doesn't have the best cardio either, but I kind of trust him more later than Meinfield, you know? But yeah, like pass. Onto the main event. Pedro Munhoz and Frankie Edgar. I just don't trust Frankie Edgar's durability over 5 rounds. I don't necessarily think he's completely fucked here from a round winning perspective, not as much as other people do, but I do think he'll probably get hurt at some point, you know? Like I trust Munoz's durability much more.
Yeah, I'm going medium on Munhoz ITD at plus 100 when I got it. My view is if this goes to decision, something weird has happened, and Edgar is like been decent, but like I feel like Munhoz does eventually catch him in some way, and like Munhoz throws a lot of volume, is ridiculously tough, is ridiculously aggressive, and is probably the best attrition fighter in the sport. Like Munhoz has like been let down by not having enough 5-round fights.
Can Edgar use his like stick and move lateral movement stuff like that he generally wins fights with? Like I want to look into this fight. I'm just like thinking because
25 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's gonna be tough. Like it's like I do think he can win. Like I do think he can win a decision. It's just he's just got to survive for so long. And I generally fade finishes, but I worry about him here. You know.
Margin for error is so tight.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of my thing. It's like for Edgar to win, he needs to essentially do any outy stuff for 25 minutes, never get hit. He's always been very leg kickable. Like I think even like Holloway could like I played GTD quite hard on Holloway over Edgar, but like that was more because Holloway just couldn't be fucked finishing him. And like Edgar striking, it's not like Edgar. Even if Edgar does pull that off for 25 minutes, Munhoz will be coming at him. We'll be chasing the entire time. We'll be throwing volume. So like you probably case scenario is like a weird split decision.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like is Edgar, I don't think Edgar's gonna win clear rounds. You know, like even if Edgar does win rounds, if he's not grappling and Munhoz is hard to grapple,
I don't think he can wrestle.
I can't see him putting up like a volume disparity enough to actually get like clear rounds. Like even if Edgar does survive, he probably like your best case scenario is a really dodgy 48-47.
Yeah. If it does go 5 rounds, I do like I think Munhoz will like for sure do kind of what you're saying, pressure volume, blah blah blah. But I do think Edgar will land too. Like Munhoz is hittable, but it's just Munhoz is one of the most durable guys in the sport, and Edgar just isn't, you know? So it's like the inside the distance potential is really high Munhoz, where the decision is probably, you know, pretty comparable. And you could probably make an argument a little bit for either guy, but it's just like the inside the distance is just so much advantage Munhoz, you know?
But it's like if it goes to the decision, I'm probably gonna be iffy on Munhoz just because I feel like if it goes to the decision, something has happened which is so strange that's even be a thing. Like I just think Edgar's done. Like I don't usually play juice, and like I just look at Munhoz and I honestly would price him close to like minus 800. I just think Edgar has to walk a very tightrope here. And like Munhoz is historically very durable and very tough. So like even like a random knockout or something is pretty much out of the question.
Yeah.
And he's hard to grapple. Like
yeah, he's really hard to grapple.
He's got very particularly after like the fact that Ortega dissuaded Edgar from grappling with like 2 guillotine attempts, and I'm like, I think Munhoz is a better grappler than Ortega.
For sure is.
So it's just like Edgar's win condition is a really tight rope.
So many people would kill us for saying Munhoz is a better grappler than Ortega, but I'm glad we both like totally agree. Ortega's a very overrated grappler in my opinion. Like he's got some subs, but if those two went into grappling, like an MMA grappling fight, like look what Munhoz did to Johns, you know? Like Johns would probably just out grapple Ortega just with takedowns and whatnot, right?
Even like Sterling didn't want to grapple Munhoz. Like Sunsal's like the only person who's ever really been comfortable grappling Munhoz, and that was like Munhoz's UFC debut. on no notice.
Yeah.
Munhoz is just a very hard fight to beat. Took over 5 rounds.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get Munhoz Maraba after this. That would actually be a great fight.
Yeah, for sure. No, I feel you. Like I think Munoz is gonna win too. But like it's still I don't. If it goes to decision, I agree with the inside the distance play. Like if it goes to the decision, it could get dicey for sure. So probably just like Munoz inside the distance would probably be better, but I'm probably gonna pass. But that's pretty much all I got. What next cards are coming up?
We got Rakic Smith next week. We got Bellator the day before too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Bader Nemkov. You haven't got around doing tape, have you?
No, I'm gonna look at Bader Nemkov literally after we hang up here.
I like Bader. I like Bader close to evens. I just don't like Nemkov's bottom game. I'm like, Bader is a very good round winner. Yeah, Nemkov could beat him in the striking, but it's like Nemkov KO plus Bader being an idiot in the striking match versus Bader being able to just half guard him.
Yeah, it's been a while since I watched Nemkov. I remember Nemkov beat Phil Davis, and like I felt like Phil Davis just kind of fought like an idiot. But Bader's pretty smart too. Like he fights smart. So I got to look at the tape though. I have no idea.
Yeah, great on Davis. Like Davis randomly decided to come kickboxing match for 10 minutes and grappled in round 3 and controlled him effortlessly.
Yeah.
So like Nemkov stuff like 1 or 2 takedowns, but like if Davis had really decided to go for takedowns early, I think he wins that fight pretty easily. And I think that Bader is a better Bader has better entries than Phil Davis, in my opinion. Like I've never been a big fan of what Phil Davis does as far as like distance wrestling is concerned, because he's like such a lanky and long guy. It's hard for him to shoot.
He can chain some stuff, but his like actual initial entry, I agree, Bader's is better. Davis has good top control though. Like once he's on the mat, he like his wrestling rides and whatnot are really good. One of like my first bets ever, and it was like classic kind of just wrestling thing is just Phil Davis was a huge. I don't even know if you remember this. It was a while ago. He was a huge underdog against Glover Teixeira, and I remember watching that fight and just and same with Corey Anderson against Glover Teixeira. I could tell Glover couldn't handle folk style wrestling rides where like John Jones wasn't able to hold Glover down, but that like Jones isn't a folk style wrestling rider. That's just not part of his game. Where like Jones wouldn't be out wrestled by Davis, but Davis would have more success stylistically in a wrestling match against Teixeira than Jones would, you know? And Phil just kind of like put on a clinic. Like I like his top game.
Yeah. My issue with David is I feel like he kind of relies on a bunch of trips and weird and clinchy things to actually get takedowns.
Yeah.
Whilst Bader can shoot Bader can just shoot.
Yeah, he's got a great double leg. He always has. Like he can shoot for sure.
Like if Bader just goes out there and shoots an early double twice, and then Nemkov's only got like 10 minutes gas anyway.
Yeah.
I could just see just being an ugly Bader just smacking. Like, yeah, Bader, like we were talking about for Davis Bader a while. Why were we talking about Bader? We were talking about Bader for some reason. It's like Bader historically has like, I think he's like 34 in completed rounds.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and part of that's because as soon as he hits adversity, he tends to collapse, but still. Usually when Bader is just a fucking great round winner. Like, it's possible he randomly decides to give Nemkov a kickboxing match and loses it, but if he actually plays intelligent, I think he just whomps Nemkov.
He's not an awful kickboxer either. He's not like great, but he's good at not getting hit himself.
Yeah, it's improved.
In the Czech Congo fight, what happened in that fight? Like, it wasn't there like an accidental eye poke? I forget.
There was some sort of no contest injury or foul, or so. Like he was destroying Czech, and like Czech got, I think, eye poked or nut shot or headbutt or something on the ground. No contest, accidental eye poke, but yeah, he was beating Czech pretty emphatically.
Yeah. God, just like looking at Bader's record, it's just he Yeah, like he's won so many fucking fights. He's been around forever, man. I remember watching I remember watching his season of The Ultimate Fighter back in like '08. It was he I think he I didn't he fight like Vinny. He knocked out Vinny, and Vinny was the favorite going into that fight. I still remember that in '08, but he knocked him out. It was like it was a good season. I remember it was like back in the day. Like I haven't watched Tough for years, so. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of like rambling right now. Do you have anything else you want to talk about, or you good to go?
Not really. Yeah, but good to go. Thanks
Cool.
for listening.
Yeah, we'll send another one out next week, and yeah, good luck with your bets, everyone.
Yep, catch up.
Yep.